Katt Williams put on a masterclass on the Shannon Sharpe Show. A masterclass. That's what it was, folks. It was exceptional. It was the epitome of what it means to come on someone's show, be funny, be direct, be a truth teller, be spontaneous, be in-depth, be detailed, be human, be sensitive, be over the top, be gracious, be everything all at once. I can't say this enough. Katt Williams' appearance on Shannon Sharpe Show was the unmitigated truth. It was the undeniable truth when it comes to what it means to go on someone's show, to be a guest, but also be everything, an icon, a celebrity, a magician, so to speak, to bring out the best, to be a healer, to be an inspirer, to be a motivator, to be a truth teller, evangelist. I mean, this brother just put it down. Anybody that's commenting on Katt Williams and not giving him his proper props, the proper props for this, because what Katt Williams did is he tore it down. He destroyed the game. Do you understand what I'm saying? You saying, oh, Tim, you putting it on too heavy? I ain't putting it on heavy enough. Katt Williams has set the bar on the last decade of what it means to go on a show and destroy. You understand what I'm saying? To go on an internet show, to go on a podcast and destroy. That's what he did. He has just destroyed it. He's made it so there will be, I can't imagine anybody doing anything or saying anything in the next 10 years on any show that's going to come close to what Katt Williams just put down on the Shannon Sharpe Show. And if you ain't seen it by now, you are hurting yourself. Go see it. I actually envy you if you haven't seen it, because now you get to experience it for the first time. Because I watched it twice and 2.5 times, okay? I watched it once all the way through. I stopped what I was doing and I watched this. And it just kept, I watched 3 hours nonstop. I didn't even go to the bathroom. I didn't even take a drink break, a coffee break, nothing. I watched the whole thing. 3 o'clock in the morning I watched it, the day it came out. I was up watching this masterpiece, okay? And then I watched it again. And then to do this show, to prep for this show, I watched it again. So if you've watched other people do their reaction videos or people do commentary around the Katt Williams video, the interview with Shannon Sharpe, and you say, oh man, now you watch the Tim Black show and you see me do something and I say something that you haven't heard, that's probably because I took more time to digest what was said by Katt Williams and Shannon Sharpe. I took more time to glean pieces from it that resonated with me, and frankly, I'm not lazy. So I know there's a lot of lazy commentators out there. They just, this, which is dereliction of duty. They should walk you off the job site today for not doing a proper diagnosis of this amazing work. So let me get into it now, okay? But I had to do that. I had to tell you what it was. Now, some people have been criticizing Shannon Sharpe. They say Shannon Sharpe didn't do a good enough job pushing back on Katt Williams. Katt Williams makes a statement that Shannon Sharpe did not follow up, or Shannon Sharpe wasn't tough enough. First of all, Shannon Sharpe is very clear. Very, very clear in the beginning of the video. This is where doing your due diligence matters. In the very beginning of the video, Shannon Sharpe says this.
Hello, welcome to another one. You're gonna love him.
He said, the guy stopped by for a conversation and a drink today. What does that mean? What does having a conversation and a drink mean? Does it mean that Shannon Sharpe is supposed to do a cross-examination? Like Perry Mason? Like Judge Joe Brown? Judge Tola? Is he supposed to do a Judge Judy out here? What's he supposed to do? Does it mean that now Katt Williams is not a comedian and a truth teller and a voice and an icon and a creator, but now he's a pharmaceutical company trying to get his medicine through a review board, and Shannon Sharpe's supposed to be reviewing it? Nah, that's not what it means. It means it's two brothers sitting down having a conversation, drinking some yak with some cognac, and having a conversation. Now, the only time that Shannon Sharpe should push back is when he hears something that's totally unbelievable. And then it's not really a pushback, it's more clarification like, did you mean to say that? Was that what you meant to say? Did I hear this correctly? And he did that. But anything else that you're saying that Shannon Sharpe did or didn't do is because you want to set the bar up here. And look, let's be frank, man. Let's keep it a buck. There's some people that are going to be so jealous of Shannon Sharpe because the last time I checked, this morning, Shannon Sharpe, this video with Katt Williams, it did 15 million. 15 million views. One video, okay? That's what you call breaking the internet, okay? What you have just witnessed is Shannon Sharpe just became the black Joe Rogan. That's right. He just became the destination for black folks that want to go to a platform and reach a massive audience. The same way Joe Rogan has allowed white folks, mostly white folks, 95% white folks, to go to his platform and reach a magnificent, amazing amount of audience. Any shade thrown towards Shannon Sharpe, you got to make sure it's not just hate. Because he has just zoomed past so many in such a short amount of time. It is only natural for people to feel a certain kind of way. So, there it is, all right? Make your own show. The next thing that caught my attention was Shannon Sharpe said this. How many people caught that? How many people caught that? See, I caught that on the third watch. You can only catch something like this on the third watch because you are so mesmerized by everything else that's being said. In the beginning, you're getting ready, you're listening, you're finding, you're not fully locked in yet, right? And this you may have missed because Shannon said it instead of Katt. And Katt's the guest, so you kind of miss these things. But Shannon Sharpe said that Katt Williams came in the door, firing on all cylinders, shooting sideways and everything. The brother came through the door shooting sideways and everything. So that means to tell me that Katt Williams is very motivated to have this conversation. Katt says why people love coming to the Shannon Sharpe Show, a lesson to us all. When he said, you got to make people feel comfortable. People have to feel comfortable. They have to feel like they can trust you. And there's no better way to see that than to actually see it happen. And you're watching it happen. Then Katt explained why he thought it was important for him, why it was necessary, worthwhile, I'll get used to his time to come on the Uncle Shay Show and talk to Shannon Sharpe. Bring up the Ricky Smiley part because I think it needs to be addressed. Ricky Smiley says, hey, I had this part, I had the Money Mike part, and then they gave it to Katt Williams. Katt said, nah, I had that part, I wrote that part. There was a part called Money Mike, and then I put everything to it, the clothes, the wardrobe, the walk, the talk, the dialogue, everything. I made that part. So what were you going to play? It would make maybe the name of if they were going to get you, but they didn't get the we different people, we bring different things to the table. What you would have brought to the table would not have been Money Mike. It would have been something else. Ricky Smiley responded taking a high road with Katt Williams saying, look, hey man, we got to have all love. Let's be all peace and everything, peace, unity. And that's when somebody got their ass roasted. That's how people talk. But I do want to say that it is very possible that Ricky Smiley did have a spot. He did get Money Mike. It's possible. I'm not saying he did or he didn't. Katt Williams don't know if he did or didn't either because he don't work for the studio. They could have said, okay, we're giving you the spot. But see, then Katt Williams came to the door and Katt Williams showed him what Money Mike should be. And they was like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is what Money Mike should be. He took it to another level. It's possible. I don't know if it happened, but I can imagine that somebody could come in and take something from the universe. Somebody could come in and state their claim, right? Somebody could come in and be so great at something that you can't see it no other way. They're the only ones that can play this part. And anything you said before about who might have got the job or somebody else you promised it to, that shit out the window. You're like, oh, throw that out the king, ting, ping, pang, out the window because now you know this role is for this person. So that's possible. It's very possible that's the case, okay? Not saying definitively, not calling nobody a liar, but what I'm saying is I can see it either way at the end of the day. But what does it matter? Does it really matter? I know Katt says it matters. You destroyed that job. You did Magic Mike. Nobody else could do it. Money Mike, my bad. Money Mike. I call him Magic Mike. I meant Money Mike. That Magic Mike said white dude dancing. Money Mike is Katt Williams. See that? That's how great the role was. He will be, when you think Money Mike, you see Katt Williams. There's a lot of Money Mikes, I'm sure, running around with the nickname Money Mike. But there's only one Katt Williams. I remember Katt Williams doing the bit about driving a car. I remember that bit. And I also remember the bit when Cedric the Entertainer did his thing in the Kings of Comedy, and he's driving the spaceship. Katt is telling the God-honest truth when he says he did this bit first about driving a car and he acted it out, and it's a very demonstrative, physical comedy in that piece that he did. And then Cedric comes and he obviously was inspired by it. Inspired by it. And I remember there was other physical comedy that Katt does. Katt did the thing where he was pushing the shopping cart, and the wheel was wiggling and shit, and he's like pushing the car. So if you know Katt Williams and his comedy, you know that he started doing that. You know that was Katt Williams. So negate any of this conversation. So Cedric the Entertainer ain't got nothing to say because Cedric the Entertainer can't say anything. There's nothing to say. You got caught. You got hemmed up, brother. So get loud and get pissed off and all those other things don't help. It is what it is. You were inspired. Just say you inspired me with the joke, brother. I didn't mean to take it, but you took the joke. Katt Williams just goes in and it's bam, 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 bam. Cedric, Ricky, Steve. Cedric, Ricky, just bow, just busting them up, hitting us with truth bomb after truth bomb. And for the record, guys, then Katt hit Steve Harvey with the you tried to steal from Mr. Cooper. You stole Mr. Cooper from Mr. Cooper. You became Mr. Cooper. You became Mark Curry. This is something that was kind of obvious if you looked at the shows. If you looked at Hanging with Mr. Cooper, then you looked at Steve Harvey show, you would see, yeah, very similar. It is what it is. Katt's just telling a historical record. He's just telling you what history was, what it was, what happened. It ain't even his side of the story. It's what happened. This man, Peter robbed Paul to pay Peter. Robbing Paul to pay Peter. Somebody robbed Paul, took Paul's money, and paid Peter with it. That's what happened. It's not a version of events. It's not his side. It's not speaking up on his own behalf. It is just telling you what it is. Duck grease is greasy. There it is. There it is. It's sad, right? It's sad that in this time and age, that's considered being a truth teller. Like, that's considered a big deal is what I'm saying. It's considered to be a big deal to just be honest because we have so many people being dishonest. So now we got this long-form content. Anybody could talk. People making money just talking on podcasts, and they just talk. They make up stuff as they go. They say whatever fits the moment, whatever makes sense. The hard part is, and I've experienced this, is when somebody lies on you to an audience, and they don't like you anyway, so they believe whatever's being said. That's the bad part. And it's like, what do? Do you respond to it? Do you debunk it? Some would say you just walk it off and don't even respond. Responding is just as bad. Like, it's just bad, okay? I've had to learn that it's the way you got to deal with it. You can't get upset with it. When people stab you in the back publicly and say a bunch of lies, all you can do is just let that shit go or address it. Whatever you do, just know ain't never going to fix it. Because even when you address it, people say you're lying. It is what it is. It's hard to appeal to the logic of people that don't like your ass for whatever reason. Katt Williams did a masterful job. I want to know. Katt Williams did a masterful job. He did his thing. And Shannon Sharpe did an excellent job of letting Katt Williams be Katt Williams. Katt Williams was Katt Williamson out there. And that's his signature. That's what he does. Can't nobody do that. Not the way he does it. Not 15 million strong. To say that Katt Williams destroyed is redundant because you see the work. 15 mil. There it is. There it is. You ain't even really got to say nothing. You just point at the screen, point at the number, go look. See that? That's all you can say. That's all you got to say. Look, can you read? How did Katt Williams' video go? How did he do on the Shannon Sharpe Show? Just point. Can you read? That's it. That says it all. 15 million. That's how he did. That's how it went. It's still going. That's how it went. I expected to get to 20 mil because we still got a weekend to go through. Come on, y'all. Come on now. And see, that's the epitome of not hating, man. I'm rooting for 20 mil. I'm rooting for this to hit 20 mil. Why am I rooting for that? Because it feels good to see somebody that I relate to win. That's all. Just feels good to see excellence. Excellence. Stop being haters. It's great to see excellence. You ain't got to be the one that's doing the excellence. It takes a big man or a big woman to recognize excellence. And you know what? There was a lot of that in the Katt Williams sit down. Katt Williams had a lot of heart. I didn't get to the Kevin Hart part yet, but he had a lot of heart. Now, if you follow Katt Williams throughout the years, you'll know that Katt Williams is known to talk about conspiracies. He'll talk about things that have happened, the Illuminati, who shot Paul, why he shot him, where the gun was. He'll tell you things, he'll say things that make you think and make you want to go look up stuff. This is great because it feeds on the curiosity people have and the distrust that people have for their government and for the things around them. Also about people in Hollywood. So that's what Katt Williams does so well. You got to respect it. And in this, when he was talking about Kevin Hart, he said Kevin Hart's a plant. And then he substantiated that conspiracy, that idea, that notion with, I don't know if I could call it evidence, but some points of view, some strong points of view backed up by events. He said Kevin's a plant because Kevin came through finance. Kevin came through and got these opportunities that comedians don't get off the break.
All lies. Steven.
Brother just changed my outlook. He just changed my outlook. Now, it's not about getting booed, but it's about all the responsibility is on us, is the creators. Now, I'm not a comedian. I think I'm funny at times. I did a little bit of performing, but that ain't the same thing as Katt Williams, who has been doing that for 25 years. I'm not even in that conversation. I had to learn to shut up and not try to be that. Do you be interesting? Be interesting and say some funny things from time to time, but recognize that ain't your lane. But when he says the audience is the judge, not you. Too many times, we want to be the judge. We want to decide what we get to do. We want to decide what's the next bit or what's the next story or what's the next input or way to, but see, the audience decides if it works or not. The audience decides if it was good. You don't get to decide if it was good because you're not the audience. And if we accept that, we can have some success. If we don't accept it, we can have some bitterness. So you can have success or bitterness. I don't think you can have both. See, Katt Williams dropped dimes, man. He dropped jewels in this special. That's why I say anybody who didn't watch it, I feel for you. Go watch it. You owe yourself. You need to learn this shit. Go watch it. Learn something. That part hit home for me like hell. That just landed. Thank you, Katt Williams. Katt Williams talked about being gracious, and he talked about living in a trailer. He talked about raising his kids. He talked about being a father. and all these things. He had so many degrees and layers, right, to this conversation. And a lot of that credit goes to Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe did his thing. Shannon Sharpe came prepared. He asked questions. And you know what? Shannon Sharpe was so prepared that he made me reconsider my interview with Linnell. You had to watch the news. It's the only way you got it.
Well, white people own the news too, unless you watch black news, so you can't really take all your information from the news either. I think that it's very easy to say fuck the police until somebody rapes your daughter or somebody breaks in your house or somebody steals something out your car, then that's who you got to call. I think that the police brutality has not waned at all from the 60s until now. But like you say, it's just being broadcast more. There's 100 million George Floyds going on probably right now that if they're not caught on camera, we'll never know about it and nothing will never happen about it. So I think that the only reason that we even know George Floyd's name is because it was caught on camera, or he would have just been another dead nigga.
But that's because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. I didn't take it as seriously as she wanted to be taken. I thought she'd come in and be funny. She's amazing. We all admire Linnell. Linnell's funny. Funny as fuck. We know. I feel like, wow, I get to talk to Linnell. This is going to be a conversation. It's going to be fun. And we can go from topic to topic or whatever. And Linnell's like, you didn't know I was a journalist? You didn't know about this? You didn't know about that? Oh, you didn't do no damn work. Oh, why am I wasting my time with this nigga? I'm like, hey, why you being so hard on me? We love you, Linnell. You are Linnell. We just want to talk to you about some stuff and see what it's like being in comedy and see what it's like, but you haven't done any work. So she was cold. So I take ownership and say, I didn't prepare like Shannon Sharpe. If I would have prepared for that interview like Shannon Sharpe, things may not have were also impressed with them. Those two things can't occupy the same space. So Shannon Sharpe showed how to be prepared, what being prepared really looks like. And that's set the stage for Katt to say some things and bring out some facts about his life that landed a certain kind of way. Like I said, people may focus on when he said this about Cedric or when he said this about Bernie. And like there are things he said about Bernie Mac. Like Steve, like that makes me hate Steve now. And I know that's not right. But when he said that Steve Harvey called the people that made Ocean's 11 and tried to take Bernie's Mac's role on Ocean's 11, even said, I'd do it for less money. Just stab him in the back and give it to me. Then the people in Ocean's 11 told Bernie Mac, yeah, that would be a good reason for Bernie never to work with Steve again. Is there anything really to say? Do you need to say anything else? The man says, hey, you got to use different words now. You can still say what you want to say. You just got to find a more creative way to say it. So that it's like, once again, he puts the ownership on the comedian. He puts the ownership on the creator and says, hey, stop being lazy. You're being lazy. That's the reason why this is a problem for you. You're being lazy. Articulate your thoughts in a more sophisticated way, and you get to get the same point across. Now you just can't walk through somebody's yard. You got to take the sidewalk. Take the sidewalk. Or send an email. How about that? Or text them. You can still go see them. FaceTime them. But you got to adapt with the times. Now you don't get to just walk through their flower beds anymore and just show up at the door. Hello? Now you don't get to do that with your thoughts now. You don't get to do that with your comedy. But you can still show up. You can still get your attention. Right? So, yeah, I respect the hell out of what Katt Williams was putting down here. This is a whole nother way to look at this whole censorship, or we can't talk it. Everybody's so woke. Everybody's so woke. Take your time, write your shit. Once again, the audience is always right. They get to judge if it was good or bad. I'm not saying don't do it, but what I'm saying is you ain't the judge unless you're performing for yourself. But when you go in front of a crowd or when you put out content, we're performing for others. We are putting out content for others. And if you're not, then do as you do. If you just put it out for yourself, you don't care what people think, fine. Deal with the repercussions. Don't cry when it don't do well. Don't cry when the numbers don't come in. Don't cry when people say, get them out of here. Don't cry when they write the think pieces and the people come for you. Don't cry then. Because once you become aware that now we have changed the way we talk about things, we changed the words we can use, and you decide, I don't want to change, I want to stay the same, I want to keep walking through people's rose bushes and step all over their daisies. Well, there's a price for that. There's a reaction for every action. Katt Williams dropped so many jewels. It's that to say it's just him roasting other comedians, it doesn't do it justice. Now, you're not doing it justice. You lazy. You did not watch. You did not listen. And that's good, so you won't be learning what I learned. Because I'm picking up these gems. Shannon Sharpe asked this question. Asked Katt Williams, why did he finance his own shows? What made him start doing that? Why did he have $25,000 and spend $20,000 financing his own comedy tour back in the day? And Katt explained it. How can you expect other people to bet on you if you won't bet on you? That makes sense like shit, don't it? Like, how can you expect people to trust you if you don't trust you? How do you expect people to believe you got talent if you don't believe you got talent? So it's like, it's on you. It's on you to put it down. It's on you to represent. When you take your last money and say, hey, I'm going to take this money and go do this. To be able to do that without somebody else's risking the money, that means you really believe you're going to do it because ain't nobody to go get your money back from. You are the buck stops. The buck stops with you. So, see, it's different to gamble with other people's money. It's different to say, I could do that, when it's your money you lose if you're failing. It's easy to say, I'll go do that, when if things go bad, you still got a place to live and it ain't your money that's being risked. But when it's your money, when it's your living arrangements, when it's your kids you got to feed, when it's all those things are riding on you, and you're taking that investment, a lot of people will not make the risk, will not do a risky move when it's on them. They only risk when it's on somebody else. And that ain't a risk. And the other thing about it, the other side of it is this. Katt didn't go there, but I want to say this. When you're in these situations, when you put the onus on you, when you put the risk on you, and you are risking it all, you will find things in yourself. You will be able to pull out of yourself some things you didn't know were there. And why? Because they didn't need to be. See, human beings are so resourceful. We're amazing creatures. If we have to rise to the occasion, our minds know, subconsciously we know how high we got to jump. There was one story I remember hearing a story a long time ago about a car that fell on a car. I think it fell on the woman's, a wife's husband or a child, and the mom picked the car up off the child or off her husband. It was off somebody she loved. She just lifted the car up. Now, under normal circumstances, she can't do that. But see, when she was in a situation where there was no one to call, I think this was before cell phones, and they were the only two there available, somebody had to do it. She just did it. Why? Because she didn't think about could she do it or not do it. She just said to herself, do it. I believe that things change about the possibilities in physics and thought and ability and what you're able to accomplish changes based on what you think, on what you believe, the presence of mind. And I believe that when you put yourself in a position when you got to succeed, you will succeed. If you know you have to succeed. If you know you got to get to the edge, you're either going to get to the edge or you're going to die trying. And a lot of those times, you are going to survive. Why? Because everything in your body, everything in your, every nerve ending, every blood vessel, every artery, every organ is pushing, every brain cell, everything, every piece of you is saying, get to the edge, get me to the edge. And you will get to the edge because you have to. And that's why this was a masterclass. Untouchable. Undeniable. It is what it is. All right, my name is Tim Black. You know how to find me. Go to Real Tim Black. If you enjoyed this breakdown, this thoughtful, considerate, detailed, real, passionate breakdown, become a member of the show. Go to Join Tim Black. Don't forget to subscribe so you get more of my notifications. Hey, it is what it is, y'all. Remember, like I always say, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. And when they say, damn, Tim Black broke down that Katt Williams show with Shannon Sharpe. He did such a great job. That brother put it down. Why'd he do it like that? Tell him it's a new day. That's all.